Hello, this is Everett Pierce, and today is October the 23rd, 2016, and it's about 3:35, just before 3:35 Arizona time. Now, in regards to energy and mathematics, numbers, what I can share with you that has had a big impact in my development and towards understanding energy, numbers, mathematics, and we're going to focus in on a person's their existence, their abilities. Okay, so I'm going to make this statement. You start out being awesome until what? Until other people convince you otherwise. So, if other people convince you otherwise, then you incorporate, you put forth your manifestations to prove it, which is also called as self-fulfilling prophecy. So, you gotta, what man has discovered in the process of early childhood development. You start out as an infant. And so things beyond that are two categories. Is a learned item, something you learn, you have extracted out of your environment, and nature versus nurture. Like, say for example, you're born and you just naturally know, you get on the piano and you just know how to play it. That's not something that is learned. That is something that you brought over from your previous life, or it's a natural thing for you. Okay. Or you could be the individual that took piano classes and learn the dynamics of a piano and what and how to play the piano. Okay, so you start out as being awesome until other people convince you as such, and you think at the process from infant to an adult and beyond. A multitude of people. Well, first you start out with your parents. Now, in hopes that your parents have evolved or are on a better status of understanding energy and life. So, that's why our future generations, it's important. It's important to understand this key element to my success. Is I see myself and I know myself as being awesome. And I will not allow anyone to convince me other than that. Because as soon as I convince myself, or I believe, the element of belief and hope, the element of belief, as soon as I believe, then my manifestation kick in, and then I am on the path of searching out that confirms such and such. So, if I am convinced in any part of that stage that, say, Everett, you will become nothing but more than just a hamburger flipper, and I start believing that, then everything that I do is geared towards confirming that I'm nothing more than just a burger flipper. Okay, now how does this play in the element of my pyramid of numbers? Well, if you see a wall of numbers, the first thing that's going to hit you, a lot of people get stricken with fear. The fear, like, it basically the presence of the numbers are trying to convince you you're not capable of understanding me. And if you give in to it convincing you of such, then you will live the remaining of your life like, I'm not good at mathematics, I don't understand numbers. It will just be a constant flow of reminding yourself and confirming with yourself, which is known as self-fulfilling prophecy, that I am incapable of understanding numbers. But if you understand the basics of energy, it has to try to convince you as such. If you say, no, oh hell no. Just like your experience of learning with ABCs. As a child, you might say, well, I can't, there's no way I can understand the alphabet, but you did. So you say, wait a minute, it may be unfamiliar, it might be overwhelming right now, but I know since I started out with being great and highly capable with many skill sets, I give it time, and then I will, with persistence, understand you. And that's how I approach mathematics, numbers. I didn't give up. Even though there have been times in doing my pyramid of numbers and looking at and creating equations, I kept approaching it as, okay, it seems like it's impossible, but that's according to an evolutionary level. Paradox only exists because it has to exist in the multiple levels of evolution. So once you start seeing how it's possible, then a paradox has to go away. So my best advice to anyone out there is listening. And it goes with the principles in which our country, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. You are starting out as being awesome. Now it's your job to develop it, identify it, and practice it. But if you spend more time putting effort into believing what other people's interpretation is of you, you will end up being exactly what people perceive of you. Just like those pyramid of numbers is, if it keeps conveying to you and tries to convince you you're not capable of understanding me, you will do such. If you take the reverse set of those numbers in energy, you say, no, I am not familiarized with it yet, and I'm going to give it time for me to absorb it so I can use my awesome skill sets to get with it. And then when you start clicking in, then the numbers say, hey, I've been waiting for you. And then I say, what do you mean you've been waiting for me? It's like, all this time you keep trying to convince me that I'm incapable, I'm incompetent. And the numbers say, I'm supposed to do that. I am to find out how determined you are in pursuing this area. Because if you're not that confident in yourself, how am I to be also confident in you? Meaning that you want me to be confident in you when you don't want to be confident in yourself. These are the foundational elements of energy and with numbers. Is you have to be confident with the things that anyone can observe. You exist. There, I think, therefore I am. So now that you know you're awesome, now you have to figure out a plan how to discover and develop your skill sets. And not allow others to convince you in belief. Because you don't want to insert your manifestation to prove such. Because believe me, our manifestations are very strong. If we seek out to prove to ourselves that we are a piece of shit, we will be successful at that. Our self-preservation is that powerful. We will prove such. So if you flip the coin, if you acknowledge yourself, I think, and therefore I am awesome. Now use your manifestations to prove and identify beyond a shadow of a doubt, yes, I have these skill sets. Yes, it's going to take a little time to develop, to get oriented, just like riding a bicycle. When you get on a bicycle, we have training wheels, is to get yourself oriented with working with it. And then you practice with it. And then after a while, you can take the training wheels off, and then you're so proud of yourself, and you say, Mom, look at me. So manifestations can go either way. So you start out being awesome up until the time it convinces you otherwise. So you're either going this way or this way. Either way, you're going somewhere. Now it's up to you to decide which area of your evolution do you want to go in. Do you want to go forward to discover and develop and practice your awesomeness? Or do you want to identify and practice and set up a situation that proves other people's perspective of you? One way is the easy way. The other one is the hard way. But the end result, when the dust settles, even if you go the wrong way, you will finally come to the conclusion is, why in the F did I ever decide to go this direction? It is important to learn things the wrong way first. And then you learn the right way. And then you mix them together, that forms a third element that's even far better than them being separate. So that's my best advice to you for anyone in their journey of evolution in this lifetime or any other lifetime after this, is you have to hold on certain principles at all cost. And you know it's either you're going this way or this way. This is the easy road, and it's more gratifying because you're identifying what is the truth. The other way is that you're trying and you will work more harder, just like it takes more muscles to frown than it is to smile. You will go through so much effort to prove other people's perspective of you that can only be incorrect, and the manifestations that you have to put in place to prove such is so much versus what manifestations you have to put in place to prove what you had all along. So you figure at the beginning, when you're born, they make your room blue, pink. It's like, as say a boy, okay, and my room is painted blue. What they're saying is they're trying to convince you that boys are associated with blue, not pink. Not saying there's anything with pink. That's how we influence our children. So when your parents and people, and from the school system to your friends, your family, and everyone around you, you're being bombarded by everyone's perspective of you. And a lot of people out there, the key element is they're trying to figure out themselves. And it's easier for them to place their perspective on and keep themselves occupied by giving the perspective of other people, because it takes the focus off themselves, because they don't like what they see. So, you want great success? I think, therefore I am. And whatever you have conceived and believed that contradicts what you are, stop it. Don't allow other people to convince you other than you being awesome. That's been my great success with numbers and with energy. Energy, or God if you will, does that all the time. It's testing me of my loyalty, my dedication to move forward. I'm going to question it. Say, well, you can't do that. I can. Why? Why can't I do that? If energy says, Everett, you can't move the sun, my response is, I may be in the physical aspect of things that I can't physically reach up and move the sun. It doesn't say I can't move it if I evolve to a different plane of evolution and understanding and usage of energy. So I maintain the state is I may not be able to move the sun at this time. But if I presume, I can never move the sun, that's exactly what you're going to manifest. So despite my default rule is, until, like a court system, you're innocent until proven guilty. Means I am capable until I've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, and I'm perfectly happy with the idea that is something I cannot do. Okay? And I'll share one with you. Is I have a good talking voice, but I'm okay with not having a good singing voice. People would pay me not to sing. I'm okay with that. Okay? So it doesn't mean that when I get reincarnated, I couldn't be in a flesh that has good vocal cords that I could sing and sing like Josh Groban or higher. That's the mindset that I'm in. I prefer to stay in. That's my default to stay in. And that's the fact. If you exist, you are considered awesome. So it doesn't make sense for other people to convince you of such. So with that, this is Everett. That will conclude one of my key elements that has made me successful is I refuse. It's kind of like if I put it in a parable per se, and I'm on a ship, I don't allow others to be the captain of my ship. When it's my ship, I can take it wherever I want to. And it's the same way, and that's metaphorically, is you can have your perspective all you want, but I only become less than what I'm capable of until you have proven to me and I believe what you think of me. And then I become it, and then I confirm it. That's the hard way, because it's going to be so difficult to prove that you're not awesome versus just proving that you're awesome. And to develop it.
Okay, with a soft tire that we knew it was good.
And to develop it. Energy likes to turn on my television to interrupt me. But anyways, that will conclude for this session of little secrets that I can provide to people. Don't allow people to convince you being less than what you are.